Tigers and Broncos have 4 points, and Bulldogs are back where they've spent much of the time.
Yeah.
Bottom with just 1 win and 2 points.
Back holding the spoon.
Yeah.
Right. Good stuff. And we'll now move on to making our predictions for next week, I think. Challenge Cup on men's and the women's side of things.
Yep.
Predictions time then. It's the quarter-finals of the Challenge Cup. 2 games on Sky, 2 games on the BBC, which is good that we get to watch all the action again. Friday 6 p.m. on Sky. It's a repeat of the 2018 final, Catalans versus Warrington. 2 teams played the other week and Warrington came out on top. Where do you see this one going, Alan?
I think this is potentially quite competitive. I've been swayed for the Wire purely because I picked Wire to win the cup in my pre-season predictions, so I'm sticking with it.
I think I went for Wigan, so I'm going to go with Catalans by 4. But I really think this is a interesting game that could go either way. I'm looking forward to watching it.
Yep. Next on Friday, maybe not quite as close. Friday 8:15, also on Sky, St Helens versus Huddersfield. Who are you going for?
Well, it's another game we saw just 2 weeks ago, and Huddersfield were surprisingly competitive in that game, weren't they? They've got the shorter turnaround, but Saints have got some injury concerns to deal with. Saints still aren't at the best, but I think they're good enough to beat this Huddersfield side right now. So Saints by 10, but I would love the upset.
Can't disagree. I've got to go with Saints. Huddersfield, good win at the weekend and everything, but yeah, I think even out of form, Saints will still win by at least 10.
Yep. We move over to the BBC on Saturday afternoon. It's 2:30 p.m. kickoff for a repeat of a game we've just talked at length about. I wonder if BBC will spend as much time talking about Zach Hardacre versus Jake Connor as Sky Sport. Oh, they can't do because Jake Connor's suspended. Hull FC v Wigan. Wigan by 8 for me, I think. Wigan have got the better side and the better composure, ultimately.
Yeah, I mean, he might be a gobshite, but Connor's been their best player this year, so I wouldn't disagree with you. I think Wigan by 10.
Okay, and that's followed up by the second game on the Saturday, the final game of the round. Another repeat from the fixtures we've just watched on television this last weekend. Castlevan versus Salford. Can you see it being any different to what we've just seen?
No. Cast to piss the cup as well as the league. Cast to win.
Yeah, I think Cast by an in the end fairly wide margin, similar to the game we've just seen this last week. So Cast by 16.
Yep.
Okay, Championship game of the week. Pulled out the last game of the week. York versus Featherstone, Sunday 7:30 p.m. kickoff. I think this is maybe York's chance to show that they've pulled through their injury woes against the Featherstone side that have had a week off. I think York have to be competitive in this one if they want to be in the conversation for the end of season reckoning. I don't think they'll win it, but I want to see more from them than we've seen so far this year.
Yeah, I can't disagree. They've been very scratchy so far. Injuries accepted, but they've still been scratchy. So, but yeah, Featherstone are a class above, unfortunately. So Featherstone quite comfortably in the end.
Yep, League One's back. So we've got a League One game of the week. And I think two of the favourites for the competition this year are Keighley and Doncaster. They play Sunday at 3 o'clock. I think that was the standout game for this week. So that's what I've pulled out. I think Keighley at home will probably just edge it in there with their artificial abs.
I picked Keighley to go up this year, so I'm sticking with them, and I'm going to say they're going to win their first game.
Yep. Women's Challenge Cup. So the it's likely to be another string of fairly one-sided results probably this week, because the draw is Leeds versus Bradford, St Helens versus Featherstone, Warrington versus Castleford, and York versus Wigan. So the teams that we keep talking about as the big four are all kept apart. York versus Wigan is the one that we picked out as the game of the week because probably has the potential to be the closest. Wigan are the fourth best of the big four, and York are an up-and-coming side. But Wigan will win.
Yes, I probably agree.
The semi-finals will be Leeds, Saints, Castleford and Wigan, we would expect, and that's when we'll start to really see a ramp up in this, and that's where we get to make a fair assessment of these sides, of these players ahead of World Cup year.
Yep.
NRL Brit picks: Rabbitohs versus Storm Thursday 10:50, Raiders versus Knights Saturday 6 a.m, Cowboys versus Broncos Saturday 10:35 a.m, and Bulldogs are playing the Dragons on Sunday at 7:05 in the morning. Get all your fan views in on all those games, and we'll talk about them next week. Wrap up time.
Yeah, should we do a quiz?
Let's do one.
Right then, so it's time for the quiz, and I've written it this week.
Good.
But it's not as very short otherwise. It's not as good as last week's, but it's not as inspirational as last week's.
Last week's came out of nowhere for an absolute joy fest.
Yeah, it was brilliant, and it was a much more original mind than my own. But I've stuck with a theme from the news. Thankfully, I'm talking about the TV deal, not about other things from the news. So yes, so this is all questions related to.
I thought it was going to be lots of higher questions. He was telling the truth.
Rugby league on TV questions. So, question number 1. So, when Super League was initially proposed in 1995, how many team mergers were initially planned?
Ooh. I think 5. I think.
Close but no cigar.
Was it 4?
No, it was 6.
What?
6.
So there was Hull. There was...
Homicide, yes.
Yeah, there was Cass Wakey, what have you.
Calder, yeah.
There was... I guess Halifax and Huddersfield was one.
No.
All right, okay. Salford and kind of Oldham seemed to be one.
Manchester, yeah.
Oh, Cheshire was one.
Cheshire was one, yeah.
And I'm missing one, but I don't know. Cumbria, I guess.
Cumbria was one, and the other one you've missed is South Yorkshire.
Oh, Sheffield and Doncaster.
Sheffield and Doncaster must have been the plan, yeah.
Well, they play out the same ground anyway.
They've definitely been interlinked, but in the end we had Huddersfield and Sheffield merging, but that's
Shuddersfield.
Shuddersfield. That's an entirely different question. Yeah, there were 6 mergers planned. There you go. So this question, these next 2 questions are from an article that Gavin Willisey wrote last year. So
if I've read it, I might have a chance then.
Well, you might do. Yeah, he was. You might have read it. But this is a bit
Friend
of a random
of the show,
one.
Gavin.
Absolutely. Yeah. So according to Gavin, so if it's wrong, blame Gavin. What was the last season that league fixtures were not shown on television? So when I say television, I mean any broadcaster.
Sky started their coverage in or whatever Sky were, in 1991 or 2 or something, I think.
Yeah, it was. So, I think it was 92.
So I think there was maybe the odd game before then. So I'm going to go 80s and say 87, 88.
That was the first year of the next deal. It was the last season without was 86, 87.
Oh.
Close though. Very, very, very good logic.
Yeah,
I
I'm
liked
close
that
but
one.
no cigar this week, aren't I?
Yeah. This last one's a random one. I freely admit this is random. So, which daytime TV personality of the 1990s hosted rugby league on TV in the 1980s?
So we're talking about before my
Daytime,
time.
yeah, but daytime television personality.
Gordon Burns.
No, I'm afraid not.
Oh.
It was Richard Madeley.
Oh.
In his early days, he hosted Rugby League magazine show.
I suppose I probably could have worked that out if I'd spent a bit of time thinking about it because of Yorkshire TV.
Yeah, so there you go.
But I went with the other side and bought Granada instead.
So yeah, Richard Madeley presented rugby league coverage in the 1980s. That's something I didn't know until I read his piece. So there you go.
Fair enough.
There you go. Close but no cigar this week.
Yeah.
But I freely admit they were not
good.
obvious
They were
questions.
good. It was good trivia. It was good trivia.
Yeah.
Cool. Any recommendations? Anything else to talk about?
Little recommendation. So I am halfway through reading. So after Clive Sullivan appeared on the Google search, which was an amazing thing. It prompted Anna, because one of her author friends had written a biography of Clive Sullivan,
Right.
called Total Professional.
Yes.
I don't know if you've read it.
No, I've not read it. No.
Okay. I am halfway through reading it, and I would like to recommend it. It's already taught me things that I didn't know. That, for example, Hull FC used to play in red and white when they first started.
Yeah.
I did not know that, and the fact that they used to be on the east of the city and KR were on the west of the city, and they swapped like around the time of rugby league becoming a thing.
Oh no, I did not know that.
Yeah, so KR were founded by apprentice Boilermakers who must have been on the west of the city, and there was a ground swap. So and then FC came west. But yeah, it's really good. It talks a lot about rugby league in general and rugby league in Hull specifically. So you actually find out a lot about other players around that era as well, players like Johnny Whiteley and people like that. So there's a lot of context around it. But yeah, it's well worth the read. And I think it's been a while since we've recommended a rugby league book on this on the podcast. So I thought it was about time.
Yeah, that sounds good. Definitely. Yeah. I don't know if I have anything off the top.
No,
of my head.
no food things you've been enticed into buying from adverts.
No, we actually we had a chippy tea on Saturday.
Can't beat a chippy tea.
The classic British seaside thing of being sat in your car eating from your chip wrappers. Because we did a nice long walk from Morecambe to Hestbank, then back down the canal to Lancaster, then Lancaster to Morecambe, and then got some chips in Morecambe and ate them before we drove back home.
That feels like a long walk. I mean,
it was 11 miles, yeah.
Yeah, that's quite a way.
Yeah, it was. I was pretty tired. Afterwards.
You don't eat chippy tea.
Yeah. I probably could have eaten two, if I'm honest. But yeah, that's what we did. It was actually nice. I'd never walked that stretch of the Lancaster Canal before between Hestbank and Lancaster. I'd done Hestbank to Carnforth, but I'd never done the other bit. So now I think I pretty much walked almost the entire Lancaster Canal one way or another over the years. So yeah, that's what I did.
Did you say you popped into the Midland for a drink? Is that right?
We did stuff off for a drink at the Midland. We couldn't not, could we?
No, of course not.
For those who don't know, that's where me and my wife got married, the Midland Hotel in Morecambe. So it's a special place for us. Even though we couldn't pop inside, we sat outside. It was very fucking cold. The sea breeze was fairly chilly on Saturday.